I'd like to introduce to you Dr. Andrew Pearson from the School of Medicine. So Andrew's, medical science. That's all good now. So Andrew is a lecturer and first year coordinator in the Griffith School of Medical Science and a 2015 OLT citation for outstanding contributions to student learning recipient. He is dedicated to positively addressing the challenge of scaffolding the academic success with demanding curriculum and is particularly concerned with enhancing the quality of his courses and student learning outcomes through scholarly reflection and systematic evaluation. Andrew today is going to be talking to us about introducing e-portfolios to promote employability for foundation year health students. Please make welcome Andrew.
Thanks, Louise, and thanks to Learning Futures for this opportunity today. So, my talk today is about the new assessment item that I've introduced this year. So I teach into the foundation year health, which is based on the Gold Coast campus, and so we teach about 1,000 students each year across various health disciplines. So they're enrolled through these 5 schools here. The degree programs include exercise science, physiotherapy, nutrition and dietetics, dental science, biomedical science, health science, environmental health and pharmacy. So a bit of a range there of different health degree programs. My course is semester 2 course, so just finishing up now, chemistry of biological systems, and in that we teach organic and biological chemistry. So students will learn this through study of functional groups, through sort of reactions that these molecules interact, and then they'll learn about biological molecules. And so the one we've got on the left there, this is aspirin, and so students synthesise this one in the lab, and then the one on the right there, that double helix, you might recognise as being DNA. So this is a very content-heavy course. In terms of the assessment, so up until last year, this has been quite a traditional sort of assessment for a chemistry course where we've got, through the exams, 25% there for the mid-semester exam, 50% for the final exam, so 75% of weighting there coming from exams, and then the other 25% is coming from the labs. So you get very traditional sort of assessment for a chemistry course. We saw Margot's talk yesterday about the need to embed employability into the curriculum, and so there was a need to introduce this into foundation year. And I put up my hand and say, yeah, I'm happy to do that into my course without really knowing how that was going to look. And so the sort of things I had in mind about trying to introduce this employability item, I wanted it to be these 3 things here, so achievable, meaningful and manageable. So with chemistry, there's not a big chemistry industry on the Gold Coast, so I couldn't just send students out to industries there. They're not web developers, so I couldn't get them to create websites needing coding and so on. And so I wanted some achievable item. I wanted it to be meaningful to the students, so I didn't want them to do something just for the point of doing it, and I wanted it to be manageable as well. So there's about 700 students in the course, so in terms of troubleshooting and marking, so that was the 3 main considerations there. So the item that I introduced here, this e-portfolio, and so it's worth 10%, and so I took that 10% out of that mid-semester exam. So I reduced the weighting on the mid-semester exam. I introduced it to students in week 1 so they could start working on it from then, and it wasn't due until Friday week 9. So they did have quite a long period in there in which they could be working on it, and I ran drop-in tutorials each week, and so students could come along to a computer room and try and develop this e-portfolio. So what students were asked to do were to either create, or if they already had one, to update their LinkedIn profile, and they just had to put in their information into this, so including a photo, entering in their education experience, and you can see those details there. So this is a screenshot from mine, and just sort of entering all of this details. So it was very specific to that student. There wasn't one thing I was looking for in there, it was just what was relevant to that student. They had to join some groups as well, so I asked them to join at least 2 Griffith groups, so these could be things like the career service or the alumni, or if there was a LinkedIn group for that school that they were enrolled through. And then 2 external groups as well, so whether they're interested in surf life saving or Gold Coast Suns or whatever it might be. They were needing to complete this academic integrity module, so this is through Learning at Griffith. This is a little bit similar to the annual fire and safety one that we do. So there's some information there. So students will learn about plagiarism, about how to reference and the importance of academic integrity. Okay? So then they also had to write a reflection on that. So I got them to write a one-paragraph reflection about what they got out of that academic integrity module. We awarded the students badges, and so these were a micro accreditation. And so once they had achieved that 90% on the quizzes, we could award them one here for this academic integrity. And then another item they had to do in the lab was to do some pipetting, so judge them as being competent in pipetting. And then students were able to then display these badges on their LinkedIn profile and on their e-portfolio as well. So it's a really good feedback for the students. I'm going to show you a couple of examples here. The first one's mine because I thought I wouldn't get students to do this if I wasn't prepared to do it myself. And so this is my e-portfolio. So there's a home page there, a bit of background and then some information about me. I have, so yeah, under each of these tabs here, I've just put some information. I won't go through this in too much detail, but some screenshots and photos and information about the sort of work that I do. I've got my resume in there, and this has actually been really fun to sort of update and keep working on all the time. So there's the OLT photographs, and put links to all of my papers and awards and grants and so on. And so this is what I was, I wasn't asking students to do quite as much as this, but I'll show you the work that they've come up with here. So this is Jalen, so he's an aspiring physiotherapist. He has got some information there about himself. He's got a reflection on his academic integrity. You can see there he's displayed these academic, the badges, and he's also got a link to his LinkedIn profile. Okay, so trying to create a link between both ways here. So you could get from the e-portfolio to LinkedIn and vice versa. And so he's made some connections there. He's entered in this information, joined some groups, been recommended different skills and so on. So another one here, this is Malia, and she's from biomedical science. And you can see quite different designs here, and there's different websites that students were able to use to create these portfolios as well. So obviously spent a lot of, I think the hardest part of writing this talk was deciding which students to show for this. So, okay, so I'll just pick a few of these. So some students really got into this. You can see and have actually put a lot more work into this than going beyond the marking criteria. So I was really happy with the way that they engaged with this item. This student here was studying nutrition and dietetics, and so she loves food. And so it's a really great way for her to be able to showcase some of her work and her passion as well. So I think seeing this individuality of the students come out, so the other assessment items, I'm marking 600 lab reports are all the same. So being able to see this, creativity here was really great. Okay. Another student, aspiring physiotherapist, and so again, you can see how much work that they put into this one. So, displaying those badges. So I'm kind of rushing through this, but just want to show so much. In terms of the marking criteria, I tried to keep it quite simple and quite vague as well, so that students were awarded marks for entering all of this information. So try not to really specify. That way, we get a lot more creativity and variety among their submissions there. So that was for the LinkedIn profile, and for the e-portfolio, again, just sort of awarding marks for that they've entered information or they've created a nice looking home page. And probably the most important one was this reflection on the academic integrity module. So they needed to write this one paragraph about why it is important. So I treat them as future health professionals. So what is the importance of academic integrity for a future health professional? And then what did they learn from that tutorial? Okay. I'll do a plug for the Enrich site here. So I've got a lot of resources from this Griffith site. So they've got templates there for the e-portfolio site. So there's a few platforms that students can use. They don't need any coding skills. to be able to do that. And within a few hours, you can actually get a very good website up and running. And they've got guides there on LinkedIn as well. And so I used a lot of the guides on LinkedIn to be able to create that marking scheme. This is one of the quotes I got from a mature age student. So she's studying her 4th degree, and she just wrote to me saying, one of the best assignments she's had to complete. She'll use it, other students will as well. And so I think that was unsolicited feedback, so that was really nice to hear. I want to give a big thank you to Abdullah, who's worked with me throughout the semester, so it's been really great being able to work with him and implement a lot of these things. He's been looking after the badges and did a lot of the marking for it as well, so thanks to Abdullah. And to Sadie O'Shea, who's from Student Success and Transition. So she helped me sort of generating the ideas and giving a lot of these resources as well. 10 minutes? Okay, so yeah, so it's pretty good for timing. Okay, I'm done. Thank you. Questions? Yeah.
Okay, Andrew, I'm going to do 10 months of opinions and put forward some suggestions from colleagues.
Sure.
10% is the difference between a grade level.
Yes.
And this is a concern that buzzes around about, well, in some ways that's a participation,
Sure.
they went in, they did it.
Sure.
Some are going to be great, some not so good, depending on their level of participation rather than their capabilities. How do you unpack that in a 10% grade?
So the way I think about it, so on the 10% that I took it from was from the mid-semester exam, and the average mark on that is about 65%. The average mark on this was just over 90%, so because it's 10%. So that works out, a student's getting about an extra 2.5 to 3 marks. And for all the additional work that I'm asking them to do, I'm quite comfortable with that.
Yeah. How did assessment board, that's my other big
Well, that we'll go through soon, so yeah, I haven't got through that yet. Yeah.
All right, thank you everybody. Andrew, thank you so much for showing us
Pleasure.
the great work, and it's wonderful to see the students. Obviously, that comment that's still up there on the screen speaks volumes, and really to have something that the students are so engaged in, they're wanting to add more. That they're obviously seeing the value in it. So thank you so much for showing it to us.
Thank you
very much. Please. Thank you.